World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, left an indelible mark on the 20th century. From 1939 to 1945, nations clashed in a global struggle that claimed the lives of an estimated 40 to 85 million people. The war's impact extended far beyond the battlefield, shattering economies, toppling empires, and reshaping the geopolitical landscape. The horrors of the Holocaust, the use of atomic bombs, and the unprecedented scale of destruction served as stark reminders of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression. To truly understand this cataclysmic event, we must delve into the complex web of historical factors that led to its outbreak. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended World War I, but created deep divisions and resentment among the victorious and defeated nations. Germany, held responsible for the war, was forced to accept harsh punishments, including territorial losses, disarmament, and crippling reparations payments. These terms humiliated Germany, crippled its economy, and fostered a deep sense of injustice among its people. The treaty's impact extended beyond Germany. The Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires, once major powers, were dismantled, creating new states and exacerbating ethnic tensions in Central and Eastern Europe. The League of Nations, created to prevent future wars, proved ineffective in addressing the underlying causes of conflict. The stage was set for new alliances, rivalries, and ultimately, another world war. The interwar period witnessed the rise of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan. Fueled by economic hardship, political instability, and nationalist fervor, these regimes promised order, strength, and a return to national glory. In Germany, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party exploited widespread resentment towards the Treaty of Versailles, economic depression and political turmoil to seize power in 1933. In Italy, Benito Mussolini and his fascist party came to power in 1922, promising to restore Italy to its former Roman glory. In Japan, militarists gained influence in the 1930s, advocating for expansionism and a more assertive foreign policy. These totalitarian regimes, characterized by their suppression of dissent, control over the media, and glorification of the state, posed a growing threat to international peace and stability. As totalitarian regimes consolidated their power, they embarked on a series of increasingly aggressive foreign policy moves. In 1931, Japan invaded Manchuria in northeastern China, marking the beginning of its expansionist campaign in Asia. In 1935, Italy invaded Ethiopia, seeking to expand its colonial empire in Africa. These acts of aggression were met with weak responses from the League of Nations and the Western powers. The policy of appeasement adopted by Britain and France sought to avoid war by making concessions to Hitler's Germany. The Munich Agreement of 1938, in which Britain and France ceded the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia to Germany, stands as a prime example of this failed policy. Appeasement, while intended to prevent war, only emboldened Hitler and paved the way for further aggression. Section 5. The Nazi-Soviet Pact, a devil's bargain. In August 1939, the world watched in shock as Germany and the Soviet Union, ideological enemies, signed a non-aggression pact. The Nazi-Soviet Pact, also known as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, included a secret protocol dividing Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. This pact stunned the world and shattered any remaining illusions about the possibility of containing German aggression. For Hitler, the pact neutralized the threat of a two-front war, allowing him to focus on conquering Poland. For Stalin, it provided time to strengthen the Soviet military and expand his territory. The Nazi-Soviet Pact had profound implications for the course of World War II. It gave Hitler the green light to invade Poland, knowing that the Soviet Union would not intervene. It also set the stage for the eventual clash between Germany and the Soviet Union, a conflict that would become the deadliest front of World War II. The pact was a testament to the ruthless pragmatism of both Hitler and Stalin, who were willing to set aside their ideological differences in pursuit of their own strategic goals. Section 6. Invasion of Poland. The spark ignites the blaze. On September 1, 1939, German forces invaded Poland, marking the beginning of World War II. The invasion, a carefully planned blitzkrieg attack utilizing tanks, aircraft, and infantry, quickly overwhelmed Polish defenses. Britain and France, honoring their guarantees to Poland, declared war on Germany on September 3rd. The invasion of Poland shattered the fragile peace that had prevailed in Europe since the end of World War I. It marked the failure of appeasement, the collapse of collective security, and the beginning of a global conflict that would engulf the world for the next 6 years. The invasion also highlighted the brutality and ruthlessness of the Nazi regime, which unleashed a wave of terror and violence upon the Polish people. Section 7. From Blitzkrieg to Global War, the early years of World War II. The first 2 years of World War II were marked by a series of stunning German victories. Employing Blitzkrieg tactics, German forces quickly conquered Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. The fall of France in June 1940 sent shockwaves through the Allied nations. With much of continental Europe under Nazi control, Britain stood alone against the Nazi war machine. The Battle of Britain, an aerial campaign fought over the skies of England in the summer and fall of 1940, proved to be a turning point in the war. The Royal Air Force, outnumbered but determined, successfully repelled the German Luftwaffe, preventing a German invasion of Britain. Section 8. A World at War. The global conflict expands. In June 1941, Hitler broke the Nazi-Soviet pact and launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa, the largest military operation in history, opened up the Eastern Front, the deadliest theater of World War II. The German invasion, initially successful, ultimately bogged down in the face of fierce Soviet resistance, harsh weather conditions, and logistical challenges. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, bringing the United States into World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor, a date which will live in infamy, galvanized American public opinion and transformed the conflict into a truly global war. With the entry of the United States, the tide of the war began to turn in favor of the Allies. Section 9. Turning the tide: Allied victories and the road to liberation. The year 1942 marked a turning point in World War II. In the Pacific, the United States Navy won crucial victories at the Battle of Midway and the Battle of Guadalcanal, halting Japan's advance. In North Africa, British and American forces defeated the German Afrika Korps, securing control of the strategically important Suez Canal. On the Eastern Front, the Red Army's victory at the Battle of Stalingrad marked a turning point in the war against Germany. From 1943 onwards, the tide of the war turned decisively in favor of the Allies. In Europe, Allied forces landed in Sicily and Italy, leading to the collapse of the Italian government and the overthrow of Benito Mussolini. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched Operation Overlord, the largest amphibious invasion in history, landing on the beaches of Normandy, France. The D-Day landings, a pivotal moment in the war, marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. Section 10. The Price of Peace. The Aftermath and Legacy of World War II. World War II officially ended in Europe on May 8, 1945, with Germany's unconditional surrender to the Allied powers. In the Pacific, Japan surrendered on September 2, 1945, following the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The war left a legacy of devastation and loss, with an estimated 40 to 85 million people dead, and millions more displaced from their homes. The war also had profound geopolitical consequences. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged from the conflict as superpowers, their rivalry shaping the Cold War that followed. The war led to the creation of the United Nations, intended to prevent future wars and promote international cooperation. Section 11. Lest we forget. Remembering the lessons of World War II. World War II stands as a stark reminder of the human capacity for both good and evil. It is a story of courage and sacrifice, of resilience and determination, but also of unimaginable brutality and loss. As we remember the millions who perished in the conflict and honor the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom, we must also learn from the mistakes of the past. The war teaches us the dangers of unchecked nationalism, the importance of diplomacy and international cooperation, and the need to confront tyranny and injustice. It reminds us that freedom is not free, and that peace is a precious and fragile thing that must be constantly nurtured and defended. Lest we forget, the lessons of World War II remain relevant today. urging us to strive for a more peaceful and just world. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more content.